Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we got ourselves a track from an act named Sweet Lily Love titled Soul Scream. And if we switch over to here, we got ourselves a track on the screen on Music B. We've got the art there as well. I should note this is not the first time I've checked out Sweet Lily Love's work. I've reviewed quite a bit of their material before, including songs such as The Only One, Dance Pop, and Femboy Fantasy 2024. We're going to listen through this track, Soul Scream, from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's do it. Let's go. What have we got? Yeah, no, it's solid. Yeah, okay, that's a kind of a risky hook version there. It kind of works. I think there's a parallel major minor thing going on between the vocals and the bits around it.
She'll make you hot, she'll make your soul scream. Just like the girls from all your dirty magazines. She'll make you hot, she'll make your soul scream. Just like the girls.
Okay, no, we're playing around with expectations there, but I think it does work for the most part. It does maybe what we're going to do for the rest of the track though, at 5 minutes. Good playing around with a no choice there. Yeah, no, that was a sensible choice. I feel like if we'd done that original melody one more time would have been too much. Filtering the vocals there. Okay, so that was Sweetly Love with their track Soul Scream. I had a great time with it, and we're going to talk about it more in the conclusion. And so welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Sweetly Love titled Soul Scream. In this section we're going to provide an overall song analysis of everything from lyrics and vocals all the way through to studio production, as well as any applicable constructive critique, and then finally my general thoughts from a listener's perspective. But first of all, what do we think this track is about? Initially with the album art, I was kind of, which will be there, I think, here. I was kind of wondering if it was someone who was kind of angry or something like that, but then it was also, and I mentioned like the dirty magazines and everything like that, it kind of adds a bit kind of a raunchier kind of sexual component to it. I like it. I think that's great. That's cool. You know, that's fun to talk about. The music is like charismatic and vivacious and vibrant and very sort of like intense, and so I think that's kind of meant to kind of sound like that. The Soul Scream is just very sort of visceral imagery there. I dig that. I like the wording and the wordplay, and I also like the way that, you know, it goes girls, 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 girls in the lyrics, and the way that we kind of are almost sort of like conversational. Once we have these different vocal layers on the sides and over top, we adjust the amount of those we have in the different positions in the stereo field to make it more interesting. We kind of filter them and change the mid and high and low resonances and stuff like that as well in certain parts to just make it a bit more exciting. Ultimately, there's a lot of range there, despite, again, how minimalist the attention is in terms of like the melody and stuff like that. I think when the first track first came in, I wasn't really sure about like where we were going harmonically with it. But I think once you kind of get into the track a little bit, you can kind of figure out where that root note is and kind of sort of like lever kind of thing, meter things out, so to speak. And I think maybe the fact that we're almost sort of unsure about it for the first bit is kind of leading the listener to have a little bit of tension there to then sort of realize by the halfway point, oh, I get it now. And then you kind of signed in for the rest of it, locked in for the rest of it, you know. And you've got that major turn in the melody. I think that I was just confusing it for some of the bluesiness of some of those like note choices there, but the parallel major makes sense when you compare it to a lot of those synth lines and stuff like that. So ultimately, I think the vocals are well done. Nice use of kind of echo there, ping pong delay maybe on that to kind of give it more of a kind of a chambered feel. And there was filtering on it as well to kind of make it seem a bit more sort of synthetic as well, which was nice. The track at 5 minutes 09 is long, but I feel like it's quite well fleshed out. I think it was good to not have the motif occur throughout the entirety of the 5 minutes. I remember around 4 minutes I was like, good, we're just kind of either holding onto that root note or kind of simmering on that kind of like lower bass part with the pulse there. I think it's a really wonderful sort of main lead line. It's a fun idea melodically. It's just if you do it too much, even if it's done in different ways, it just becomes a bit too much, you know. But again, you kind of have the track starting as it finishes with the chord note pulse on the kicks, the snares, the vocals kind of filtered out, kind of gaining in prominence as we go along. And we have a lot of really wonderful drum fills and 30-second note rolls on the kicks and the snares and stuff like that. And it's kind of kind of, again, these kind of happy hardcore-ish kind of elements there, these dance track aesthetics. And these other sort of like bits of air candy that as they rise with literal rises as well, you feel like you're going up with the music and headed somewhere kind of fun. These syncopated bass lines, such as around the 30-second mark as well, are quite fun and explorative, and they're just a nice sort of additional touch within the ether there. They provide a good sort of like ground bed for a lot of the melodic and harmonic elements over top. And as we get into that part around the 50-second mark, for example, we've got those kind of twinkly arpeggiated synth lines there rolling through those chord progressions. You get a feeling of what we're trying to do there with the pace and focus and sort of like direction of the song there. And again, that kind of ambiguity between what the vocals are doing melodically and what the track is there kind of starts to make more sense the more you listen to it. But I like the fact that we instantiate these earlier elements and that we introduce them in different ways and integrate them and like layer them in different amount combinations, and we just kind of play with that as we go through the piece. But then we also have moments where just the synth pads are just sort of surrounding you in the stereo field, and it's just fantastic with lots of flutter kind of like bells and stuff like that. And this is really neat as well to again like have that kind of hypnotic feel of that build section there around the 120 kind of going through it there, lead up to something else. We have like 4 or 5 drops within this song that are approached in different ways there, filtering of kicks to make them more prominent there, less and more, you know. And I like the fact that the drums aren't just doing 4 to the floor the whole time. They have some 8ths and 16ths as well to sort of switch up the groove and rhythm and cadence of things there. I think also having the keys introduced, such as around the 2:30 mark for a bit of a mid-range kind of more acoustic flair, is sick. And we have a lot of those kind of synth flutters and decorators kind of building into that on top of it. It's not everything at once. It kind of staircases but comes down the way that isn't completely trying to sort of avoid committing to it. There are some moments such as around the 3-minute mark as well where there are less drums to no drums, and you're just kind of left with the things on top there simmering in the ether. And I like the fact that there's that sense of dynamic range compositionally. Again, those kind of alarmish kind of like kind of rises as we go through 4:30 is just very sort of like you know, it's par for the course for the genre, but done the way where it is just so much beforehand that you're kind of like, oh, I'm in familiar territory now. And it's exciting. It's really cool. And like with those repeaters on the end tail with the vocals and stuff fading us out, it's just a nice sort of professional way to end a track within this style of music. I enjoyed my time with it. I think at this point in time, Sweet Lily Love is probably good. They know what they're doing with this kind of music. Thematically, again, it's major leaning, but it has a kind of a bluesy feel to some of the vocal melodies as well. So it incorporates some more sort of cool ideas whilst kind of keeping things euphoric and upbeat. It doesn't overcomplicate with extended triads or chromatics there. It's meant to sort of be nice and bubbly and upbeat, and it really wants to sort of encourage you to be in the middle of things. And I like that it's trying to pump you up. I think that makes sense for the style of music again that we're making. You know, studio recording, mixing and mastering. I like the way that, again, the automation of filtering and volume of things is done there. The production dynamic range is good. Sidechaining into kicks is good. The vocals are nice and clear and present in the mix despite the effects tails. The different synth basses, drums, pads, sequences, arpeggiators, leads, etc. have their own distinct textures and timbres within the track and are easy to sort of follow along to. And we play around again with the expression of them in certain places to adjust the feel of it. We play around with perceived loudness in terms of our positioning things within the frequency spectrum as well. There are no weird resonances within the frequency spectrum, and again, music surrounds you in the headphones. It sounds huge. And ultimately, yeah, it's commercial grade. Nice and loud bass compression, again, Livingston's is handled. No applicable constructive critique. And from a final generalist perspective, again, I think Sweet Little Love is just good at this point. They can make music that I feel like this would have an audience if they, you know, and I wish them luck with their music in future. They've got something really special going on here. It's just been really cool to watch Sweet Little Love's journey over the last while. I'm not sure how long it's been, how many years it's been, but I'm just thankful that they've continued to grow and improve, and they are doing some really cool things. So I'd recommend checking out their other music if you haven't already. But thank you for watching my review of this track from an act named Sweet Little Love. Hopefully you enjoyed it. This track titled Soul Scream. If you did, please go show them some love via the various social medias and the website, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next SB Reacts. Spiderhands out.